Hello and welcome and hello guys. It's Cornbread here. It's a really nice day in terms of the markets. Kind of check back, kind of everything's figuring itself out, shaking out a little bit. The SoFi stock looks extremely strong. Basically, I want to talk about. People keep asking me, well, it hit your 1013, it hit your 1360. Of course, you probably dumped all your shares. Of course not. 1360 is just where I thought the stock should be, coming into the end of the year. I wasn't counting on sort of this, Trump euphoria hitting the markets, hitting all these fintechs, obviously crypto exploding. And then we have, favorable inflation data. So we're going to get another quarter point rate cut. I interpret that in no way that I'm saying you should go ahead and dump your SoFi shares. I'm not dumping shares at all here. I mean, if the stock ran to 20 tomorrow or something, I would consider selling shares. But remember, guys, the SPAC price was $10. This was almost 4 years ago. It's by no means ripping to 14. That's what I mean. They manipulate the starting line so they can say, oh, the stock's gone absolutely crazy. It's up to $14. But other stocks, whether it be Hood or Palantir, any of these stocks that are growing at similar rates to SoFi that I believe will have inferior eventual margins. These stocks run to all-time highs, get insane multiples, and nobody says boo. SoFi's selling for cash flow models or any other way to evaluate growth stocks. A lot of these guys are saying this stock should be worth high 20s. A lot of these experts. And if you just compare it to its peers, I really can't argue with that because I think next year the stock's going to grow at over 25%. So anyway, today sitting up 20 cents, just kind of grappling with $14 as it has been since basically it came up to that level on the 8th. It's just been hugging that level, push down, push up, but it's basically been just sitting right around $14, which is fine. It's been going up dollar by dollar. The algo's been walking it up. Market makers are walking it up, and they're not done here at 14. This is, remember, if guys like Uncle Bruce, the smart guys said, hey, they wanted at 15, 16 to sort of maximize their gains sometime next year. That's what not only him, but other guys who sort of understood those finance deals a lot more in depth than I do. They were saying 15, 16 sometime early next year might be sort of max pain for the, the opponents of the seniors, whatever you call that. The Lurker, if you're watching, this is in fact decaf. Anyway, that's actually the truth. I've been drinking decaf and low acid coffee at the behest of the lovely and wonderful Princess J. And quite frankly, I don't even really know the difference. I drink like a quarter of the caffeine and it's still way too much caffeine. Ooh, feeling a little jittery. But I want to explain why SoFi is my favorite forever stock right now. Even at $14, I don't think that's a huge issue because if you're like me and you think this stock can actually grow the top line even faster than 30%, you understand where they're going to be with margins, where the growth is. I mean, you look at a company, I just keep comparing it to Palantir because I'm probably so bitter that I, lost out on that stock, but, sold way, way too early. But, $120 billion market cap or whatever it is, it's not just pricing in perfect execution and 30%, 40% growth. It's like, even if you have 30% growth on the top line, if you're Palantir for the next 10 years, and you have incredible margins, still the profit you're taking to the bottom line does not justify that market cap, even today's market cap. If you grew like that for 10 years, if you look at SoFi, it's exactly the opposite. I mean, I think they could also grow at 30%, but they're starting with, 10% of the market cap. And here's the number one reason SoFi is my forever hold stock. Okay, the total addressable market. It's almost unlimited. It's so vast in these areas they operate. Lending, financial services, banking. trillions of dollars in this sector. It's a giant, lazy sector that is ripe for the picking. This is what I was talking about the other day, and the market is very, very accessible. It's not like Palantir or some of these other companies, or even Hood or some of the fintechs, where you're basically blazing a trail. You're almost inventing a new sector or a new sort of subsector, if you will. SoFi's not doing that on the consumer side. Now, on the Galileo side, yes, hopefully they are doing that. But on the consumer side, they're doing conventional things. They're just doing them better. They're doing them more efficiently. They're doing them in ways that customers appreciate. That's the bottom line here. Surveys, every other metric, customers love SoFi. SoFi's organic brand recognition keeps going up. They made a lot of really, really good decisions. They have a lot of really good partners. But that's what I use the analogy of surface water. It's relatively easy for SoFi to take these customers, take these revenues, and do so at a high margin because they have this digital model. Everything's done in-house. They're going to have great eventual margins. They're just infinitely more efficient than these mega banks, these credit unions that really haven't changed in decades, really haven't changed in centuries. And you look at these companies, they're getting these massive valuations right now, like an Upstart. I mean, I really think what they do, there's no secret sauce to it. Okay, AI, lending, it's all a lot of hype. It's all a lot of verbiage. They don't have a bank charter. They can't write loans. Anybody can do what they do. I know it's like, well, they have algorithms. They use AI. It's a special sauce. Nobody else can do it. Bullshit. Galileo can build what Upstart does. I don't think it's impossible at all. They have this digital loan platform. I'm trying to dig deep into what like a firm, Upstart. Now Hood, they have special sauce, no doubt. Hood's a different case. Hood is not just like a fintech. Hood can be a financial giant as well, just like SoFi. So, I mean, I'm still not a buyer of Hood right now at this valuation. If I got in on it before when it was low, I'd be singing its praises like the huge hypocritical Karen that I am. But I didn't, so I'm not. Next reason, guys, business model. The wheel has never had a chance to work. None of their new innovative high margin products have gone anywhere yet. They're just getting out of the starting line. Everything they've accomplished to date, this growth, this EBITDA explosion, getting into GAAP net profit 4 quarters in a row, getting eligible soon for S&P 500, maybe late next year, who knows, if they continue to execute in this flawless manner. But this wheel hasn't started. The B2B wheel hasn't started. The IPO stuff has barely started. All the high margin stuff has really not been firing yet. This is all conventional stuff they've grown on. Lending, financial services, banking, swipe fees, starting into credit cards. They're just clearly doing it better. Customers keep flocking there. SoFi doesn't have the highest, APY for their bank accounts. Others are way higher. People like SoFi. They like the UI. That's clear. And people are like, well, they're not going to have the trading platforms, Robin. They're not trying to be Robinhood. Don't you get it? This is what this robo-advisor thing is about. This is not for the people who want to stare at their screen all day, and make, trade options and sell calls. And this is not for those people. But this one, I'm not going to go through this article because there's just no point, but basically it puts in products that, aren't accessible anywhere else. Sort of these products that normally you'd have to buy $1 million worth. You have to be a accredited investor, closed-end funds, all these types of investments, Blue Owl, Carlyle, there's, millions of them. Nice. Yeah, dude, I bought 20. Oh my God, I didn't want to say it, but I think I bought 20,000 shares of NEO yesterday. Right off the lows. But yeah, I have a tremendous amount of confidence in the relationship that NEO has with the Chinese government and how that's going to project their growth around the world. So I don't want to get into the whole NEO thing. I'm doing another video about that. We don't need 4K subs. It's the last thing we need. It's a headache. Each subscriber is a headache. You guys all want stuff. You guys all ask a bunch of questions. So let's see. Let's give you guys a look at the live short interest. I know they're covering, but yesterday the shorts kind of dug in a little bit. So yeah, cost to borrow is not negative at least, but they're returning. What What are they doing today? It doesn't say. Why isn't it up for today? Oh, it is. So they're returning 6 million shares today. Yesterday was just neutral. So the overall short interest they're tracking as way down 155. So that was just 172 million. So since this run started, looks like they've covered about 17 million shares, according to Ortex. Now, if you go to Fintel in terms of the short aggregate short volume ratio, through this whole run here, this had been 31, 34, this little end where it's been sort of sitting around. So they've been covering when it's been sitting up at 14, which normally they would just reshart, but they didn't. So it's been all the way down to 28, which is really low for this stock, 33. And then yesterday, all the way up to 47. So that was a huge bump. So they're digging in their heels at 14. And then today they're capitulating again. So the bulls are completely in charge of the stock. The shorts have nothing to do and no way to do it. They're just caught up in a funnel gunnel right now. No new ratings on the stock, no particular new articles. There's a couple people sort of saying, hey, the stock's going to run out of momentum, but other people, Asian investor, this guy's good, solid upside ahead. But since then, it has had upside. This is yesterday, Deep Value Investing. I've read this guy or lady, seems pretty good. It's 35% year-over-year increase in new members. These results, got to look at statistics. You got to stop listening to FUD and hype. The Chia Pet still has not re-rated, guys. The Chia Pet still has not re-rated. Unbelievable. If you look at Max Pain, this just gets kind of comical because don't be fooled. Market makers are hedging. There's not all pain. So Max Pain is $9. Open interest just looks absolutely ridiculous. You got a lot of puts down here at 5. You got puts down here at 2. This was a sort of a doom and gloom scenario. There's a lot of action. It's hard to explain. I've sort of asked people why those are there, and they explain it to me. I'm like, wow, there's some insane stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't necessarily see. But volume extremely heavy on calls, puts topping out really at 1350, calls 14, 1450, 15, all extremely heavy, and then it falls off a cliff down to 1550. So all the calls are really from 14, 1450, and 15. So it really looks like the options guys, the options gods are going to push this thing somewhat higher. I think if anything, it tops out right in that 15, 16 area that Uncle Bruce and the other, smart guys called out some time ago when they saw this senior secured note deal taking shape. But in terms of, the reasons, again, why this is my number one forever hold, here's like the big one that I think people are they apply to like Robinhood and Palantir and that they don't apply to SoFi. And that's their ability to rapidly innovate high margin products and introduce those products onto their platform and onto their customers' platforms. This is like what New does. This is what Robinhood's doing. Galileo gives external customers that ability. And I think that's going to be recognized pretty soon by Mr. Market. And I think they're going to start to have some really, really good quarters where we see that contribution. And I think when we do, SoFi is going to get a much, much richer valuation. And that's the bottom line. I think it's going to happen. I think Derek White is outstanding. I think he's working his ass off over there in Utah. You can ask not a lurker. Like, bald guys are not only brilliant, they're sexy. Or ask Mrs. Lurker. I don't know. Anyway, guys, so the relationships, another reason. NBA, NFL, golf, these are affluent young customers. They're shooting for, they basically, and this all ties back in with that premium student loan refi market. These are up and coming, young, happening, high value lifetime customers. And SoFi is going to capture those customers in those rate cuts, and we're going to hold on to them for life, and we're going to make an absolute fortune. It's not my fault that this, call thing is very phallic. That was not intentional. But you see how much money these theoretically is being left on the table in, on the cash basis when you start to look at these calls. Like, they close at $14, it's leaving $85 million on the table, basically. So I don't know. Is the stock going to go a lot higher right now? It's hard to say because, it's going to hit some pretty significant resistance here. You can see that on the chart. But but it can break this down. I don't really see any resistance on the chart, technical resistance, until 24. There might be some psychological resistance at 15, at 20, at some of these levels, but this stock should be at all-time highs. It should be at all-time highs. It should be trading for 8x forward sales, in my opinion. That would be about $24. That's where I'm at. I know I've said 1360, but this was when the market was treating this stock like a redheaded stepchild, just, Cinderella, no ball for you, whatever. But the market has obviously changed. There's going to be a recognition of what this company actually is, what they've already accomplished, and the fact that the business model hasn't even had a chance to work yet. This stock's going to be a free cash flow machine. Noto set it up that way. Noto set this up to get his massive, massive bonuses, and he's got to push the stock up into 2026. And the only way that's going to happen is rolling out all kinds of crazy new products that nobody's even thought about yet. SoFi is not just a fintech technology company. It deserves those multiples. Outstanding management. Outstanding management. SoFi has built a better mousetrap, and they know how to use it. They've got this platform now. They can do anything they want. The sky's the limit. They have a flexibility, an ability to innovate, reinvent themselves over and over again into the future that other companies don't have. Long after these other companies reach obsolescence, SoFi shareholders are going to be laughing all the way to the bank. What's going on, everybody? We got Steve in the mountains here. Hi, Steve. How's it going, buddy? We got the great Alberto Bertie Aviles manning the wrench with his typical panache. What else do we have here, guys? Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to use my left hand so I don't get carpal tunnel. Stock coming down a little bit, but it's nothing to worry about. It keeps doing this, falling down a bit, 1370, 1380, coming back up 1415. So it's really trading in that range around the $14 area. Nothing to worry about there, guys. What's going on, everybody? Carl Seamark. The Unpoco Moss Fund is going down. I'm Hack House. I'm selling Hack House. Just give me $20 million. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Let's see. We're getting a 10x video. Yeah, I'm actually was planning on doing a 10x. I really like 10x. I know penny stocks are garbage and you always lose your money and GMDA went bankrupt and all that. But guys, I have hit a few huge penny stocks, SMMT being one. I bought that with the founder, bought 100 million. I bought, and it's like 90 cents or whatever. That stock went over $20. It does happen. 10X is going to sell a huge amount of Lavazza Menden. They are going to get FDA approval. It's just, I'm very, very sure of it. If you look at the doctors who work for that company, these are some of the biggest heavy hitters in cardiology. I mean, it's the FDA wants to approve this. They're bending over backwards to pre-approve it. The whole problem was during high rates, they could not get any money, and Roth Capital basically stabbed them in both testicles and then bent shareholders over a barrel and gave us a, month-long guided tour of the 50 states. Nobody's happy about that. But guys, anyway, yes, I will definitely do a 10X video. I have been buying that stock steadily. I think they have good management. It was just, they were caught between a rock and a hard place when this is what happens with these stocks. The old manager who's been there for decades, he doesn't know anything about, finance, and he gets the company in a really bad spot. And finally, when he retires, the new management is in just a horrible position that's very, very difficult to get out of. And when you're in a high rate environment, you can't raise money on any reasonable terms. That's when you end up with these two, Roth Capital deals that are just absolutely. But this last one was good, where they raised 100 million. So I'm pretty happy. And yes, I will do a video on that. Thank you, Carl Seamark, the Mattress King of Chicago. We got Big Payush, the Big P in the house. What's up, Payush? We got Jason Watkins, that kid who beat the other kid playing chess. I'm offering you a draw. Look at the board. I have. Take the draw. We can share the championship. Dude, I've rarely been in the presence of a grandmaster. Thank you for joining us, Jason Watkins. We have the great Forrest L, the great Payush once again. Neo, guys, don't get too crazy on Neo. This is high frequency trading, price fixing. They're taking it all the way down. It's the exact same thing they did to SoFi. It's the exact same algorithm. It's the same damn people. It will face rip. It will face rip. I have people in China. I know people in China. I used to buy and sell a ton of electronic components out of China. And I know what's going on there. I know what's going on there. I'm not just talking out of my ass. I talk to people. NIO is the real deal. I mean, XPeng's price to sales is 2.5. NIO's is 0.9. 0.9 price to sales, current sales. If margins improve on earnings next Wednesday, NIO is going to double. I mean, double at least. It should be trading $20. It's at $4. When I see that, my brain goes into a melt. That can't make sense. I bought 20,000 shares of NIO yesterday. I'll show you the shit. Whatever. Maybe I'm a complete fool. Maybe I'll lose all my money. Maybe Trump will cancel the shares and they'll be worthless. I don't think so. I think international trade presses on. It's a global economy, guys. Tesla builds and sells cars in China. NIO is going to build and sell cars in Europe, Middle East and North Africa, and eventually the United States. It's going to happen. This company's not going anywhere. But neither is SoFi. I mean, I have a huge SoFi position now. It's like I'm tempted. I got to sell some. What I ended up doing was selling some of my shorter term calls, going into long term, hard shares and longer term leaps out to 2017. Because I just don't like to hold options that are coming due anytime soon. I don't like time decay to start working against me, putting me, you can't put baby in a box. You can't put baby in a box. And that's what happens when you hold options too long. You put baby in a box. And this baby doesn't fit in the box. So we got Brian with a Y. Yeah, I've got January 20. Yep, exactly what I have. January 15, 2027. I had a ton of 10s. That I bought when it was, 7, but they got way too expensive now to buy 10s. So I got to buy 15s, Brian. Let's see. Invite us all, Danny Deals, So Sweet 16 party. You're all invited. You, Molly Ringwald, everybody. Let's see. Danny bought my first NIO shares. Nice, Brian. Excellent buy. I was buying right there with you. I bought, like I said, almost 20,000 shares. Just dipping a toe in the water. Yeah, I added a lot too, guys. NIO's going to be fine. I know everybody's really afraid right now. They think it's going to be like this huge trade war with China. I don't think farmers want that. I think hopefully there will be some policy people in the new administration that kind of temper this. Like, I don't understand why we'd want an all-out trade war right now with China. It's like, I don't know, just pushes us further into a hot war. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, what do I know? I just have an economics degree and, I'm just really smart, but I guess I don't get it. Let's slap tariffs on everything back and forth and just grind our economies to a halt again, like we did last time. Brilliant. Nothing's going on with NIO. It's coming into earnings. It's high frequency price fixing. They're driving it down to shake people out at the lows. That's it. There's nothing going on with NIO that it should be selling for less than 1x price to sales. It's just ridiculous. What's going on? Clap my dog, Payush, Amruso, Heirloom Cedar. I just had a hard fast less. Yeah, that's why I wasn't selling covered calls. This run was just coming in way too much. What's up, Vladdy Z? How you doing? Princess J, the beautiful and wonderful Princess J. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. We got Toto. SoFi 0. Yeah. Guys, it's been a hell of a run. I mean, like I said, I was loading this stock really heavily in the 4s, low 5s. I mean, it's been a money spinner for me, but that really wasn't the point. I'm trying to make you guys money. It's the same reason I'm trying to tell you, I think NIO is going to have a much, much bigger run than this. I mean, it went from almost 70 to 4. SoFi went from almost 30 to 4, and SoFi's ripped back up, over 14. I think I think Neo can easily just rip over 30 on one announcement. If it be, big partnership or something, manufacturing in Europe or United States, anything can happen, guys. The Chinese government is pushing this thing. So anyway, I don't want to make a Neo plug video, but SoFi sitting at 1382, even on the day. They just pushed it down a whole bunch, pushed it up a whole bunch at the beginning of the day. Algo working hard again on the SoFi stock right here at 14. I don't know what they plan to do. I don't think they really plan to push it down into rate cuts. Demand will be high, but they're returning a lot of shares today. They didn't yesterday. Still plenty of shares available. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Hope everybody has a good day. Let's see if there's any new comments down here. Yeah, no, Brian, you don't have to buy the same thing I buy, man. I sold some Tesla at 350. I've had Tesla since 2016, so I might be trading with a few more decimals than some people, but trust me, doesn't mean anything, guys. I trade for wealthy people. You guys won't believe me anyway, but I traded hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stock, and that's just the truth. I'm not wealthy, but I work for wealthy people, so I know things, and I splash. When I believe, I put everything in. I may or may not know it. I used to gamble a lot, used to play a lot of poker, and I was known as a bit of a madman. But in my mind, I really wasn't. I was just able to calculate the odds in my head very, very quickly. And when the odds were in my favor, I put all my money in, because that's the whole point of the game. I don't think that makes you crazy. I think that makes you logical. But it's scary. Oh, it's scary. No, it's not, because I wouldn't be playing the game if I wasn't prepared to lose my money. So that's the deal with Neo. It's like you're gambling to an extent. Geopolitical risk, execution risk, which I think has been, the government's taken a lot of that out. I just think you have to ask yourself, is it logical for a Chinese government that's known to be extremely logical into efficiency, brilliant with are they going to let Neo build out 5,000 battery swaps, 5 huge factories, and then let the company go under when the government is funding most of that stuff? It just makes absolutely no sense to me. Why would the government set up meetings with the presidents of UAE and Egypt with the CEO of this little company? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. XPEV trading at 2.5 sales, Neo trading at 0.9 sales. Look it up. Look it up. I mean, I guess I could show you. No, I can't. I don't know, guys. I don't know how to use my computer. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, so if you look at it, just to show you guys I'm not lying, XPEV price to sales ratio right here, 2.5. And then Neo price to sales ratio, less than 1. I mean, it's absurd. The valuation is absolutely absurd. This thing's being priced like it's about to go bankrupt. This should really be like $15, $20 stock right this minute. I've never seen manipulation on this level, high frequency trading, price fixing on this level to make this kind of disparity. I mean, SoFi at 4 was almost as ridiculous, but not really. Anyway, guys, you do you. I know, these Chinese companies are fraught with risk, so you have to be kind of crazy to want to buy them. But I want the gains. Capital flows to, reward. Capital flows to profits. And right now, my capital was flowing to Neo. So, but SoFi for me is just the number one forever hold. It's extremely safe. The growth is going to be there. The margins are going to be there. Massive total addressable market, the best management, brilliant business model, infinite ability to innovate, grow into the future. It's my number one forever stock, guys. Appreciate you watching. It's Un Poco Moss. Thank you, Not a Lurker. Thank you, Alberto Bertiavlis. Thank you, Princess J. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope all you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember, guys, I know everybody's like really on edge and whatever, but just try to like keep things in perspective, be kind to each other, take a deep breath. When something starts bothering you, just remember, like everything everything that seems like a huge big deal, like the end of the world right now, in a little while, you're going to realize it wasn't. And you're going to realize, everything's going to be just fine. So guys, as the great Jerry Springer said, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.